Greetings out here in the Oregon forest, and it's time to talk about a very basic skill when you're out in the woods and you didn't bring a toilet with you, which you should do. Bring your own toilet so you take your waste with you, but if you don't have that, you're going to have to dig a hole, or what we call a cat hole, to go to the bathroom in, or a latrine, you might want to call it if you want a more euphemistic term. But before we show how to do it properly, I'm going to show what never to do, ever. Never throw your toilet paper directly on the open ground. I'm not going to show you too much of a close-up. As you can see, somebody took a duke right next to this lovely little trail leading from my dispersed campsite. Now, I used this campsite a good month ago, and then I decided to come on back, and it, since I was gone, has been completely full and filled with toilet paper all over the place. And the campsite is just through the trees right there. You almost can make out the green of my tent and the white of my canopy. But as I'm going through the woods here, I actually came down this little path and was kind of poking through the trees here just behind camp to look for a piece of wood. I'm looking for a very specific piece of wood to use for a project. And I'm having to step over old latrines, like you can see here. Toilet paper, and look, that looks like a wipe, a hole dug, and somebody's trash in it. And you're kind of going, well, that's disgusting. Why would you do such a thing? Well, because they're in the habit of doing such things. Here's another not properly done poo hole, and I can actually see waste right on the open ground with toilet paper on it. Again, I'm not going to show you a close-up because it's vile. Nobody wants to see that. But then this little path through here we go again. I can't even walk through the trees here in this little path right behind my camp without stepping over somebody's disgusting toilet paper. It's embarrassing. Never, ever do that. Do not put toilet paper directly on the open ground. Like right here, you can see, there's camp, and then there's the one right there, there's the one right here, and then just over this side of camp, there's a path through there where people have dropped their waste. But then I was milling around over here looking for stuff, and sure enough, right here, there was actually two pieces. So an animal came in here and actually got into this toilet paper and dragged it away between yesterday and today. And that, it's just like, are you serious? So over there, over here, over there, all around this campsite, people have improperly thrown their toilet paper on the ground, went to the bathroom directly on the open ground, and all that does is beg for diseases and bacteria to spread all through the environment. And even here, as we walk past my little homemade rack for my solar panel, this is the site. You can see here's the fire ring, completely trashed all through here. This is where you could definitely put a tent. This is an ideal spot to put a tent for anybody camping here. But look what they did. They dug, and they went ahead and went to the bathroom right where a tent is supposed to go. And you can see the toilet paper's scattered all the way through the woods over here. And it's just like, are you serious? You literally just crapped right here, right where everybody's trying to be. It's bad enough that they're driving spikes into trees and leaving things hung up in the trees with plastic rope, which is plastic in the environment, and leaving trash everywhere. I've found half a dozen Coleman bottles all through these woods all around this campsite. But I've also found, and there's another piece of toilet paper right there, cat hole, cat hole, cat hole, cat hole, improperly done. In some cases, obviously no hole at all. They just pooed right on the open ground. Do not poo on the open ground. That is improper, that is inappropriate, that is not how it is done. You want to bury it completely. Don't leave your trash. Shotgun shell, cardboard. Oh, what's over here? Let's see. There's a fun little spot here that somebody thinks is the garbage can where they put their Doritos chip bag. That's new. That was not there the last time I camped in this spot. Here's another piece of toilet paper looking stuff. And so this entire campsite is completely surrounded in a whole 360 with poo and toilet paper. So I'm risking getting hepatitis or who knows what just by walking around out here, because I don't know what parts of what toilet paper the animals got into and then where they ran afterwards. For all I know, every square inch of this place is hopelessly contaminated due to people pooing right in the campsite, right next to the campsite. There's two right here, literally one there, then a third one. Remember, there was one over there. There's one by the tent site. Remember the big nasty mess over there? And there's a mess over here that I spotted. Look over here. See? There's my tent, right off the corner of the tent. Look, more. That's toilet paper. There's more trash. See, what's that? Toilet paper roll or something? Or is that a tampon? I don't know. Here's old cardboard. It's disgusting. So for starters, not only do obviously you need to leave no trace and not put your trash out here, but don't poo on the open ground. For starters, that is not how you do a cat hole. Don't do this. Now, for starters, standard equipment in your camping kit is a shovel. Always should have a shovel. It doesn't matter if it's fire season or not, or wildfire season or not, you always should have a shovel in camp. It can do so many things that are helpful. You've got to have one. And if it's fire season, you need to have a shovel and a 5-gallon bucket of water right next to the fire ring where you're having your campfire, if you're allowed to have a campfire. There are bans right now. So even though there are no campfires permitted, and generally I never have fire, it's just not my thing, I still keep a shovel at all times. This shovel lives behind the passenger seat of my vehicle so that I always have a shovel on hand right next to a set of tire chains that are always in the car regardless of the season, because you just never know when you're going to need a shovel. And if you don't have a place to go, like I do, where I bring my toilet with me and my waste comes with me out of the woods and I don't leave my waste in the woods, you're going to need a shovel to dig a hole. So first off, get a shovel. If you don't have a shovel and you went camping, you have made a mistake. This is required standard equipment for camping. You should always have a shovel and a 5-gallon bucket and enough water to fill that bucket on hand. Always. Even if it's the dead of winter, always have a shovel, especially in winter. You know how many times I've had to shovel snow in camp? My goodness. Keep a shovel on hand. Now, since you already have a shovel, you can appropriately dig a cat hole, and it's going to require a little bit of effort, and that is the main reason why most people don't bother digging an appropriate cat hole, because they're just too lazy to bother. It's easier to just crap on Mother Nature and expose everybody who wants to use the campsite after you to your contaminated waste. So, for starters, have a shovel and actually have the, self-respect and respect for others to use it to dig an appropriate toilet for yourself to go in. Okay, so we've got our shovel. You probably have toilet paper, I'm assuming. Hopefully, if you're going to leave it out here, it's biodegradable toilet paper. I know that costs a little extra per roll, but I mean, if you care about Mother Nature and not contaminating the environment upstream of where you probably live, you will want to bring natural toilet paper or use nature's toilet paper, which I've shown you a few different versions of. I don't see anything around here, but you could definitely use moss. Might not be the softest thing, but hey, it's better than contaminating the ground with toxic stuff. Now, where do we select our cat hole to use our shovel on? You need to go 100 feet or more from your camp. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So where this cat hole is here, where they've left it, is an appropriate distance from camp, but I can still see camp. So I usually go farther than this from camp. I tend to go twice that far. So let's keep going. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, where do we go? 8, 10, 11, 12, 14, 16, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, or so. So now we're a good 60 plus paces from camp. I can't see camp. Now, pick a spot where it is unlikely that someone else is ever going to walk. Don't do what we saw earlier just over here, where your poo is literally right next to a path where people are going. So, a little sort of hole like this, so you can see it's sort of protected in there. You could easily just squat right in there. That's not a bad spot, or just maybe right there. But, who's going to be walking through here? Probably not many people. I do a lot of foraging, and I'm always checking on, what's trash is around camp. So I will be out here, but most people won't, other than to, go to the bathroom or maybe go commune with nature. Maybe they want to go walk out of camp and go see the woods around camp, and they have to walk over your disgusting cat holes. So pick a good spot where it's unlikely that someone's ever going to step in it or even see it. So here's the spot. I'm going to go right in here, and then we're going to dig it. Okay, so we got some digging done. And here's the thing, it's work. There's stones, there's roots, there's things like that. You're going to have to do some work. And that's, again, why a big part of the reason why some people just don't bother. They don't even bother digging a hole at all, because they just don't want to do the work of digging a hole. And when it comes to places where I know I'm going to have to do this, like if I'm backpacking or if perhaps I run out of my toilet supplies, I'm going to have to dig a hole. And what I generally will do is dig something more of a latrine that I can use multiple times, and that means a much deeper hole. Now look at how deep this hole is right now that I've got dug. Is that deep enough? A lot of people would say, oh, you've gone too far already. I'm going to say, absolutely not. I need to go deeper than this. Because as you might have noticed, some people, their cat holes are a few inches deep, and they're dug up immediately because, well, the critters like the smell of your undigested food that you, with your poor digestion that you probably have, being a city dweller and eating a mainstream diet, you're going to have pretty poor digestion, and there's going to be undigested food that comes out the other end, and animals are going to want to get into that. You'd be surprised what even like the squirrels and the chipmunks are into. They will get into your pee spots because they like the salt in the pee. They don't care about the urea, and the same thing with their poo. They don't care that it smells like poo. If it smells more like food, they will get into it. And coyotes will do the same thing. Even domesticated dogs will go and dig up people's poo. And so, like, if you bring your dog into camp and it comes back with somebody's poo all over its face, that's pretty disgusting. So what you want to do is bury it deep enough so the smell is hidden, at least obscured to a certain degree. Obviously, critters like bears and dogs and, forest dwellers tend to have much better sense of smell than we do. But at least putting it underground gives you a buffer, so it's less likely to be discovered. So this is not deep enough. I may be able to get my whole hand in there, but that's just not deep enough. I'm going to go deeper than that, and I recommend you do the same. Dig it as deep as you possibly can. Okay, so just about 8 feet away from the cat hole, here's something you could use for toilet paper. Obviously it's a bit dry, but it still is going to work. So let's say we've got done our business, we got our toilet paper, and there we go. We just went. Now, what do we do after this? Obviously cover it back up. And if you're going to use it again, you can do like a layer and then another one. This one is just, in my opinion, not deep enough to be used again. And so you're just going to, that's why throwing it all over the place as you shovel it out, maybe not the best idea, because then you won't have anything to put back in. And then once you got it all covered up, as a courtesy to others, take and put, what I do is take and put an X. So not only do I know not to dig there, because that's what's there, and you can also maybe grab a rock or something. I don't see any rocks handy necessarily, but you could grab a stone and put it there as well to let people know that, on top of the cross sticks. So, X, don't go there. That's X'd out. This has been used, and quite frankly, if you do the cat hole correctly, not only will animals not get into this and dig it up and get your toilet paper back into the environment, contaminating everything, but by next season, you should have no evidence of this even being here. And I'll tell you, my cat holes, where I was camping a lot on the lower John Day River, I would come back the next season and I couldn't even find them. I'd know that for a fact. I'm like, I know I put a couple of sticks there. They're gone now. And then I would dig there and I wouldn't even find anything. I'm like, there's nothing in here. There should be, you'd think, oh, well, if it doesn't decompose, there'll still be your waste and toilet paper. And the stuff just breaks down and goes away, even in that low rainfall desert environment, because I dug it correctly, nice and deep to where it's actually in the moist part of the soil and then covered over appropriately so the smell doesn't contaminate the air with its lovely, enticing aroma for any critters to come along and dig this back up. And it definitely, makes sure that I don't have to worry about that, contaminating even myself. Because some critter got into my cat hole or ran through my toilet paper and poo that I left straight on the ground and then ran through my campsite. Because I surely have seen little footprints of critters on like my table next to my truck, my little folding table. And if they were just putting their little hands and feet in poo and then ran across your table, you touch that table, now you have that contamination on your hands and you didn't know it. You didn't know it because it's invisible contamination. And that's one of the big things is like, oh, I can't see it. So out of sight, out of mind. People think, you just, oh, my poo isn't in the way because I don't see it anymore. It's over there. And it's like, no, it sits around and it's getting dragged back around out of the environment from you not doing this correctly. So dig a cat hole correctly. Don't crap in people's campsites. Don't crap in dispersed campsites. Don't put your crap out in the forest right on the open ground. Like all those half a dozen sites all around this campsite that I'm using. All around here, as you saw, there's just toilet paper and feces that I have to physically look at anytime that I go walking around in the trees near camp. And it's all around camp, too. That's what's so shocking, is it's just all around the camps. And you'll see like this right here. What's this? This is plywood, and there's other wood because someone had built a latrine where they were permanently pooing right out here. and they just left all the stuff out there. And so, you know, it was all torn up by animals. Animals have gotten into it, just like here. Animals have gotten into this toilet paper in this cat hole, and obviously dug up this one that I have to step over anytime I come. You can see camps right there. So don't do this. Dig an appropriate cat hole. Use biodegradable toilet paper. Those are obviously not biodegradable. Those are wipes. And there's a plastic bottle cap right there. So you can see how people are really giving, what kind of a crap people are giving the environment. They're giving the environment crap and taking whatever they want from the environment and leaving toilet paper literally everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. So that is, my friends, for you who have not learned how to do this appropriately, there's an example of what not to do, and then I just showed you exactly what to do, how to do it properly. So make sure that you dig a cat hole properly, and not only will campers after you that use this area be very grateful that they didn't have to look at your waste and your toilet paper every time they walked out of camp, but everybody who lives downstream is going to be very appreciative that there is just that much less contamination making it into the watershed. So thanks so much for joining me for this long period of time here around camp, showing you how to properly dig a cat hole.